podcast. We are on episode 40. That is 4 times 10, I think. Can I double check my math? 40. Yeah, that's it. And I'm excited today because I've been trying to set this one up for a while, but I keep messing up. So I'm glad that I finally made it happen. But we got Honeyrot up in this bitch. Here we go. What's going on? We got Rick, and then we got Jorge over here.
Yes.
How's it going on? What's going on, guys?
It's going great. We're just here hanging out. It's a rainy day.
It's a rainy day. Yeah. I'm happy for it. It's cooling shit down. I'm fine with that. Although I get a lot sadder during this time.
The feels, man.
Feels.
That's why we make emo music.
This might come in handy for you guys, right? Like,
yeah. It's been raining recently, and like getting in those feels is always fun. It's always comforting. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like it kind of is like especially if you're writing stuff like to it, like it always like helps out that like if you can get easier into like certain moods and things like that for creativity. As far as like the way you write, like is there any specific formula that you use or any like specific like headspace that you need to be in?
I guess headspace. I just like being alone. That's one of the like biggest things. Like I've always written music alone, like by myself and stuff. And it's not like I don't like collaborating or anything like that. It's just I've always like been accustomed to it and stuff. So the homie just moved into a new apartment. I just moved up with him for a couple of weeks, and luckily his apartment is like the gloomiest apartment ever. Like
what? Why?
It's so weird. Like right now, like it's like cloudy outside. It's
Yeah.
raining, and I mean, like it feels, it's like gray and stuff. But to like Tuesday and Wednesday, like it was like I woke up. Could have been like 2 in the afternoon, It was super sunny outside, but inside it just feels so like
it's dark.
gray and dark, and I love it. I mean, I'm not complaining. I love that, but it's cool because I'm like, oh, I need to take the dogs out till I go pee.
Yeah.
Take them out, and it's like, like 90 degrees, like the sun's like glaring.
Yeah.
But like I don't know, the apartment's like positioned like away from the sun. So
gotcha.
Yeah, so like we only really get a sunset. So I mean that's cool.
Yeah.
But like literally from the time I wake up to the time like 6, 7. Like it's just dark and it's gloomy and stuff, and I'm like, okay, like I can I vibe with this and stuff. It's also really cold, so it's like
it's the
cozy and stuff.
Cozy, cold.
But yeah, like in terms of getting in a vibe and stuff, I don't know. Candles are always fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
Those bleeding candles.
Well, that's cool because like everyone has their own like process and stuff like to get in the right mood, and it's not speaking to like a way like all the artists have like and no one has like the same like set like thing. So
ritual.
I like it's always
fun.
like some different like the candles thing. Like I haven't heard that. So like setting a whole mood for yourself is kind of like dope.
Definitely.
Like it's kind of like a good a cool idea.
Put this out, make a little pentagram.
Also being really honest with myself.
Yeah.
I feel. I mean, I don't know. I enjoy like artists that can just be themselves through the music, and it's hard sometimes because like being vulnerable and just being honest. It's just like shit, But it's part of it, and also just not forcing it. I think that's another thing that I learned. Or I mean, I love My Chemical Romance and Frank Iero. Like I love that man. He has an interview where he says, like you never really sit down to write music. You just sit down, and if it happens, it happens, and then if it doesn't, well, it doesn't. Just go for it. And I think that's one of my favorite things about like expressing myself through music and like through stuff like that. The coolest thing about like writing music, in my opinion, is like being able to capture an emotion.
Yeah.
Through like chords and like addiction and like the words you say and stuff, but having it come out organically, it's just like damn, like cool, like you get to release that stuff and it's like damn cool, like it's not forced. Like there's been times when I'm like, dude, you need to write music, and like it doesn't feel right. Yeah. And then you get into those moods where you're just like, it's a Friday night, you're not doing anything. Let me pick up my guitar. You don't think anything of it, and then boom, like something comes up, and it's just like damn, like cool, like this is what I like it. Like it's just as like much as ritualistic as it is, and as they make it sometimes, it's also just organic. So it's just like hanging out with my guitar and just being honest with myself.
I feel like you keep repeating like not forcing it and organic, and those are like when I like write music, that's like one of the biggest things that makes me the happiest, when I'm not like really trying to do something and all of a sudden like a little melody will hit and I'm like, hold on, like where did that come from?
Let me work on this.
And I'm like, okay, let's just work on let me just sit with it for a while. Let's sing along to, let's figure out stuff, and then once you like come out, like I've had the hardest trouble writing songs when I try to approach it with a certain subject in mind.
Exactly.
Like it doesn't always work for me. So my thing is always like I'll sing melodies over and over, and then like a few words will pop out, and I'm like, why did those words come out? Like, I don't know.
Yeah,
And then like we'll just like connect the dots from there. Like you know,
Okay.
I get a dot, like 2 dots, and I'm like, okay, how do I get this to this, and make like let it make sense and
Yeah,
let it come
yeah.
out like a lot more naturally. Seems to be the way for me to get those like. Lines out, and then like you're right, vulnerability is a huge like thing
Yeah.
that I appreciate in music, but it's scary as fuck. But I realized that like through music, I found it's easier for me to be vulnerable than like trying to like talk to someone. I'm like, yeah, I feel like this, and like if I write it to music, it doesn't seem as bad. You know what I mean? Like I don't seem as fucked up if it has a melody. You know what I mean? Like it just helps out in that way, and I feel like that like a lot of people kind of get that, but that's kind of cool that like it's one of the things that's important to you is for it to be like an organic writing
Yeah,
experience.
for sure. Like, and even like jamming with homies and stuff, like something will pop up and cool. Like, you know, that's it. Like, we're just at the end of the day, like, if I'm not having fun, then I'm not really like in it. So like, all this is just having fun and vibing and stuff. So that's why I do it.
Yeah, that for some reason. That seemed like a foreign concept to me when I was in a band for a while. We were having fun, but they got to a point where it wasn't, and I stopped paying attention to that. And I'm like, because I was like, you know what? Like, I don't know if I even like what I'm writing. You know what I mean? Like, and it got, and I stopped paying attention to that. And we were writing this music, and I'm like, I don't even listen to it like outside of it, and I should like want to listen to it over and over again. Like, it's the simplest like thing. It's like, yeah, I should enjoy my own music. Yeah, that's kind of like your basics, and just not really thinking about that. Really makes you kind of lose like the you know the want to do it, the thrill of it, the you know just the fun of writing music with your friends or whoever you know. You say like you do a lot of stuff just like on your own. You do play both like side like I've seen you play like solo gigs, and then I've seen you also play like full band gigs.
Yeah.
How do you approach both of them? Do you write everything, or is like the instrumentation comes together when you guys write a band like as a band?
Okay, so the way Honeyrot started, I started about a year and a half ago now today. A year and a half ago now. And I started by me recording everything, like my backing tracks and everything, and then going on stage and playing guitar and singing to the backing tracks.
So all the backing tracks are you?
Yeah, everything's
Whoa,
me.
okay.
Yeah. So like the first like 5 of the original songs that I usually play on my set, like that's what I sat down one day and I was like, you know what, I need to record these songs because I want to play them and stuff. So I just went, like I have a little like studio back home, and I just recorded the backing tracks, recorded everything, and then I just muted the guitar, the main guitar part and the vocals, and then I would play. And then, you know, after playing so many gigs, people were like, hey, you're like people in the car were just like, hey, I play guitar, like, can I hop on? And I was like, yeah, dude, let's do it. So then it became a 2-piece. It was guitar and drums, and then it became a 3-piece. You know, I had like guitar, drums, and bass. But like it started with me, like, because I didn't have a drummer, but I had a guitar player, so I moved on to drums. So I was singing, drumming, and I had a guitar player. So it was 2 of us. Then we got another drummer. So it was 2 guitars, like me singing, and a drummer. Then we got a bass player, and then now we're down to our trumpet player, which is Ricky. He plays trumpet. Yeah, dude,
AKA
awesome.
Thick Rick.
Thick Rick.
Very thick.
My manager, he didn't have to think twice about that handle. So now Ricky plays horn for me, so whenever he can't make it, like I'll play trumpet, but I'm on guitar and vocals, and then I have a drummer and a bass player, so it's 4 of us now. But yeah, like the way it started, it was like me, it's all my music and stuff. I record everything. I was like, yo, these guys liked it. They hopped on it, and they're down to help me. Like they'll drive up to gigs and stuff. So I mean, it just depends. It really just depends if they can make the gig or not. Whether like I play full band or I play with just Ricky and I or stuff like that, or if I just like strip it down and play an acoustic set. So like however like it works out better for us, that's how we do it. But like I have my band set and stuff. It just depending.
Because yes, so speaking of that, you are from and started out in Laredo.
Yeah,
So you're taking stuff, and then like the first time that I got to see you was a show that you know that we did. And you played. It was just you, and then Ricky, you came up and did like the trumpet on a few songs, I believe. But that was the first time I experienced it, and I saw that like you had all the backing tracks, but like I don't know, like everyone who was like there was just like glued into it, and I was like not even thinking about that. I was like, this shit is badass. Like, is that? And then the trumpet was like out of nowhere, like fucking killing. I was like, because I saw you like standing out in the crowd, and then I was seeing you where I was like, hold on, what the fuck? And I was looking at the trumpet, I'm like, dude, that's so fucking badass and sick. But you actually like came up and are staying up here for a few months and have been playing so many fucking shows.
Yeah,
like it's like coming up and hitting the ground running. That's so cool. Like that you have like that drive and attitude.
You're
I mean, yeah, this guy's
We can-
it's a huge part of this. Like Ricky, he took on that role, like being the manager and stuff. I mean, he's one of my best friends also, but like he just pushes me. Like he's the reason that I'm up here, honestly. Because he was just like, you know what, like Dallas, Fort Worth is popping off. Like come up here. I was already doing things in Laredo and stuff, and I was like, if I really want to do it, I'm gonna come up here and we're gonna try and we're gonna do it, you know. And then thanks to his help, like I've been able to like land all these gigs, you know, and play consistently up here. But yeah, we've just been trying, man. Like we really believe in all of this, and we're just like you said, like at the end of the day, like we write music for ourselves, like for fun and stuff. And I mean, if we can keep playing gigs, we're gonna keep like kicking ass.
I mean,
I like how you said how like, you know, he moved up and it's, you know, it just kind of kept going. Yeah, as soon as he moved up, he had like a show like the next weekend, which was at the Post, and then we had like San Antonio the weekend after, and then we had, you know, Fort Worth again, and then the weekend after we had like emo night along with a Music for a Change festival. So we've kind of just been like nonstop.
Yeah,
and, like, you know, and then he went back to Laredo, but like he went back to Laredo for some more
and played
you know,
more gigs.
some more
They
shows.
yeah.
You know, so it's just kind of like just keep it going, and you know, it's kind of working out, and you know whether the band can make it or not. It's awesome to be able just to accommodate and just kind of like change. Sometimes we'll do like that more like hyper like upbeat set, and then we can like, oh, the band can't make it up, but we're gonna do a like very chill set. You know, we did a coffee shop in Laredo.
Okay, really?
Where the bassist couldn't make it, so it was like our drummer used, you know, like the
like
the,
rods, like it was
brush
a
or
movement,
something?
you know,
like brushes and stuff.
like the brushes, you know.
Yeah.
So it was very chill, and you know, we were just there. We were just sitting down, and you know, we were like just playing.
So that's one thing that's like really powerful to be able to do, which is like play anywhere and with anybody. Like it's one thing that I spoke to actually you guys were talking about Ethan earlier, but Dispositions. So Dispositions, like I talked to Zaylin, which is their vocalist, and the music that they're making now, like they have their like used to have their typical set and stuff, but they're creating like a bunch of different new like genre. They're diving into a bunch of different genres now. So like they've told me like they've written a country song. They've played another song that has like a real like heavy like 80s synth type, like 80s pop like stuff. And I'm like,
that's when they gave
I'm
me
like,
some
what are you-
dance Gavin dance vibes.
Dude, they're doing a bunch of like different weird stuff, and I'm like, I go, why are you doing this? Like, because we want to be able to play anywhere and with anybody. Like that's a goal, and I'm like, that's cool as fuck. Because like, luckily these days, like mixed bills and stuff like that have gotten a lot more popular, and I love that. I'm like, I love that because you get to be put in front of like people who normally wouldn't maybe go to your show, like and you get access to these new fans because that's the way people listen to music like that all the time. Like you know, you might be going to a metal show, but yeah, you might listen to like this, you know, easy listening stuff at home, like too, because like you love that shit too, or whatever, like whatever type of genre you listen to. But if you somehow randomly get like a taste of that like with you, then it's like, oh, I wasn't expecting this, but I like this, and like, and then you have a new like fan and stuff like that. So being able to adapt to like, you know, especially with like not having all your members up here all at once and being able to like, oh, we can still play, like it's fine, like nothing is like kind of stopping you from doing that, and that's cool as fuck, like because that's just gonna open so many doors for you guys. I know that.
Yeah, and like piggybacking off of that, like the whole mixed genre stuff, like I see a lot of artists nowadays that they're just like releasing like really random singles and stuff.
Yeah.
And I love that about like being independent and like just releasing your own music. Like nobody can tell you what to do. So it's like, you know what, okay, I'm gonna release an album like that's like follows this narrative, but like, oh, I just wrote a reggaeton song, let me drop it. I can do that, you know, and I love that, and I think that's so inspirational because it's like, dude, you can do whatever.
I need a Honeyrot cumbia, bro.
We already got the
I need a Honeyrot cumbia. Hell yeah, I need that. I need the whole like venue to start dancing in a circle, boy. Hell yeah.
Yeah, so like the other like last week when we were in Laredo, it was actually my wife's brothers and sisters' birthday. So my mom was like, "Hey, can y'all like play for us?" So like we did like Mananitas for them.
Oh yeah.
And like George was just playing the guitar, and I was like, "Ba-da-ba-ba."
Yeah, it was like super mariachi.
Yeah, we just sang some mariachi stuff to them, and then they were like, you know, just so we could just accommodate to like whatever, you know, people want. And then I used to play with the mariachi for like years. So
Oh, really? This
guy knows
know
everything.
I know like a ton of mariachi songs. So like if someone says like they want to hear something and he knows it, we
Hey,
can
let's
just
do it.
we can just throw it out. You know?
Oh yeah, dude. If you guys need a grito guy, dude, aquí está.
Yeah.
Backing vocals.
There you go.
He's hired,
Sign me
yeah.
up.
Sign the contract
Sign me up.
right
I'm
now.
See, that's what you were talking about. That's how you got members, dude. That's just
Yeah,
do it, try it.
yeah, dude.
But that's fucking cool. Yeah, I think the independent artist is like the coolest thing to be because you have literally no limit on what type of stuff you can create.
Yeah.
It's like if you want if you want to put it out, you can put it out. You can put it out how you want to. Like it's all. You have a lot more responsibility in creating like the way stuff gets released and the way things like that. But you have complete control over that. Like,
yeah,
that's
so
the
that's
thing.
give and take.
That's
Yeah.
kind of really cool because how we're doing that. We're bringing up an EP release coming up very soon. Like,
Oh, music?
I just say that?
Oh, hold on.
It was like,
Can we delete that?
Like, what,
You gotta, hold on. I'm always late to this, but you gotta insert this shit right here.
Yeah, exactly. You read my mind.
So we are doing an EP release. Dope. Very soon. The date will be announced very soon. But it's cool that we, just thinking about how you just said like we can do whatever we want. We're thinking of like all the designs ourselves, and we're thinking of like the type of music that and then just the amount in the EP that he wants to add, and he can just wake up in one day and just be like, dude, you know what? I want to do this, and we can just we're just like, all right,
Yeah.
we just talk about it, we'll just be like, all right, well, let's make it work, So it's just kind of being independent and just being able to just do everything ourselves and just say we want to do this and we want to do this, and no one's really kind of like. There's no middleman that we have to go through of like getting the approval of. It's just all whatever we want, and then I take that role of making it happen. I say if I would tell them like, you just give me the green light and I'm gonna make it happen. And we just kind of go with it. So it's kind of cool to just have that liberty, just just
have that
like,
have that liberty and just the ability to be like the independent artist today has access to so many freaking tools and like just things to create and to promote and to put everything like at their hand that like 10, 20 years ago, like you'd be like, nope, you got to get signed. Like, it's the only way it's going to work. You know what I mean? Like a deal. And these days, like you go on the internet. So the hard part these days is standing out, right? Because music is like, there's so much of it everywhere.
Yeah.
But it's cool. Like now everybody's like hustling hard to figure out like, okay, how do I figure out my own way of promoting, my own way of being as authentic as I can. Because there's people that fall into like traps of like, okay, let me just do what someone else is doing, and you gotta figure out how to your specific individualistic thing, but that works for you. That's not gonna be your cookie cutter like stuff, which works for some people. But like I've been seeing like the idea of like blowing up on TikTok. So I've been looking at that a lot, and like people who have like got this one song that has like millions of like listens, but like they'll play shows and don't have anybody that's coming to them. Like it's a hard realization, but it's like, okay, so you there's a balance. It's a good thing if people like listening to you on on TikTok. That's good. It's good at spreading music. I've like found artists through there because of like that. But like finding the balance, like, okay, but how do I make sure my numbers are real, like accessible and real people that will come out to see you. You know what I mean? So that's where it takes like playing those gigs and playing all over. Meeting people face to face in person, touring, stuff like that. That like gets you in front of actual people, listening, and then at the end of the day, making connection is the biggest thing.
Yeah, it's all work. Like I mean, blowing up on TikTok is anybody's dream, But like, if you're not grinding, if you're not like playing these gigs and you're not pushing for it, I don't know. Like, is it like sustainable enough?
Yeah.
Like, it's because I mean, a fraction of like what is gonna like help you out are stream plays and stuff.
Hey, Danny.
But also like, you know what? Like, most of these artists like the way to like sustain itself is just touring and playing gigs and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's hard. I mean, the way our approach, or like my approach, has always been just play gigs first and then social media second, which is like it's tough to balance those out because like it's either like I'm focused 100% on social media or 100% on playing gigs, So it's kind of like, dang, because like I don't have any music out. I have a song out on Spotify, but like we've been playing all these gigs, you know what I mean? But like it's like these gigs we're asking and stuff. It's just The social media is it's a hard game, man. But it's a game.
It is hard. Hold on. He's about to bite. Hey, Zen,
Bite
get out of
me?
there. Spray you, boy.
Bite me?
Don't bite Thick Rick.
There's enough to
Hey,
bite.
There's enough to
A little Don't tempt him, man.
Oh my god.
Oh, man.
Okay. But yeah. So it's the social media thing is like, it is a part of like the music thing.
Nowadays,
Now. Like it is like it's very, very difficult to leave that completely out. The only people that I see like don't use it are people that are at that level that don't need.
They don't
to.
need.
Like
Yeah.
they already have their following, but even then. They usually have someone running their account.
Yeah,
to post
social media
updates, because like people need to know
just-
if you're touring. People need to know if you're
Yeah,
putting new
it's a
music
big
out. So
part
it's
of it.
still, and that's the way people get their news like these days. You know what I mean? Like anything band related, anything like, are they coming through town? What are they doing? Are they working on stuff? How are they drawing attention? You know what I mean? Especially because like people don't drop like albums like every year all the time. Like people take their time sometimes and don't. And if you're not doing anything in between those, like there's got to be something that's still promoting your music.
You gotta
throughout
be
that.
relevant. Like,
Yeah.
and it's not that it sucks. But I mean, it's great because it's easier because you can just post every day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's also work. Like, and like you said, like, you know, it's so accessible now. But the only difference is that like whoever is gonna be like relevant or like be on your feet most like is the person that's actually working for it. So like, you know, people see like, oh, like this band's doing it and stuff and they're posting consistently, but in the like behind the scenes it's just like, damn, like this guy's posting. Like it's really hard. Like social media is still like, it's still work and stuff and it's hard. It's really, really hard to like get a hold of it and stuff.
It's hard when you're I feel like when you're an artist, like a lot of the time we're like, I want to write the music, play it, you know, recorded everything. I go, that's all I want to do. Like and then when it comes to social media, it's like, that's something that I didn't want to sign up for, you know what I mean? But,
Yeah.
So having a team kind of helps, you know
Yeah,
what I mean?
for
Like having like someone who's like, hey, if you're in charge of social media, I'll like do the music, write, perform, do all that stuff, like help me post stuff. And like, so that's like with like NoiseROT. So we have like our team where like, well, DJ do like a majority like of booking shows and stuff like that, and then I'm the one that's in charge of like, hey, who is posting up like about shows, who's like, we're trying to create a lot more content and stuff. So like stuff like the podcast, stuff like little clips showing off like songs, releasing things like that. Like so that's like my department. So I'm like, okay, someone is dedicated to just doing that. You know what I mean? And even then, like I've gotten to a point where like, all right, it's a lot. It's like it's a lot to like keep up with. So I'm like getting help like now, which is great, to kind of help on that and work, because everyone's got their own specific job, but being able to manage social media at the same time of like not losing the spark of your creativity is a delicate
It's
balance.
tough.
You know what I mean? Yeah, it's
for
tough
sure.
to keep it. Yeah.
And,
Absolutely.
And being authentic too, like you were like mentioning, like, you know, like how am I gonna like get this audience that's used to this while actually doing it, like while actually putting your own twist on it. It's also like, you know, it's hard, but yeah.
It definitely is difficult, but it's something that people are getting used to doing. It's just figuring out your way of putting content, because a lot of people think like, oh, I have to, you know, put it out the way I see it being put out. And people figure out their niche. Like people figure out like what they are good at, whether it's like if you want to update you writing riffs, if you want to update you know, like if you're just playing the guitar, because I've seen like people like just
I think
post
you
up
just
where,
gotta
like,
try
oh,
everything and whatever hits, like you go
yeah,
with
and
that,
people
right?
find it interesting, you know what I mean? And some of it hits, some of it won't, but it's just literally like posting everything. So that's like, I've been reluctant on like starting our TikTok because I know I'm like, once I start, I'm gonna have to post every day, like every day for the algorithm to work.
Yeah.
Like based on what everyone said, like one a day is like your minimum that you should be doing.
Really?
I'm like, oh, that's crazy.
No
Because
way.
they do
TikTok is
promote
rough.
like, so I went for a little bit on my personal one, and I was like, let me test this out.
me see
And I was
what's up.
posting like one a day, and every day there was like an increase in like amount of like views and people and stuff like that. And I'm like, that's exhausting.
If it
But,
likes you, it
yeah.
likes you,
know
so
what I mean?
push you.
Exactly. And the more you put out, the more likely like its stuff is willing to stick. And you can figure out stuff like that. But I know like once I start like the NoiseROT one, I have ideas like of content that I want to create, but I'm like, okay, I've looked at people who do like bulk posting where they like record everything one day and then just post it throughout the week and then do it again. And then you also have to like push in like your own like personal ones. Like the ones that don't look so prepared, the ones that are just like,
Whatever.
I'm fucking eating macaroni
Boom,
right now.
boom,
You know what I mean?
boom,
Shit like that. You know, like
you gotta record yourself all the time.
Yeah,
Like,
it's kind of weird.
It's
You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's a lot of things to think about.
It's like I'm
Yeah.
brushing my teeth. Let me record myself. You know, it's like shit,
You know
dude.
what I mean? and shit like that wouldn't work though. That's the thing. I've seen the most ridiculous things go viral. And
Yeah,
I'm like,
so you just gotta try.
you just gotta try and like and people work at it. I've seen like one artist recently who they put out a song and their whole like I think idea was like, oh, I want this to go TikTok viral, and they're a good band. Like I'm a fan of them, but it just hasn't hit. You know what I mean? They haven't found the niche for it to hit, and I've seen them try like all
Everything.
these ideas. I'm like, you know what I mean? And I'm like, dude, that must be so hard. And they're posting daily and trying different ideas with it.
That's some
same song, trying, and
dedication,
I'm like, dude,
homie.
that's hard. But I see them trying, and I'm like,
It's a lot of work.
at the end of the day, like I have full confidence that one of these is gonna hit. You know what I mean?
It
Like,
has
where-
to, yeah.
But it's just like as far as I can tell on anything, it's consistency. That's all you need.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
if you can be consistent on something, like you're good. That's why like on the podcast, I was never like worried about like, oh, like I gotta make sure this like blows up quick, and I'm like, nope, like I'm gonna let it go at whatever pace it needs to. I just want to make sure that I keep doing them as authentic as I can, as real as not me trying to be something that I saw or something.
Authentic.
Authentic. The podcast word of the day is authentic.
100% authentic certified. Yeah, man. But with like TikTok, I feel like TikTok is really like trend based.
Yes.
So like a trend will do it, and then it's like you have a lawyer and a construction worker like doing the same dance just
Yeah.
because it's trending. So like the way to get it, like I don't know, TikTok is. I've never tried TikTok, but like the times I've been on TikTok, it's like everybody's doing the same dance. Why the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, but it's like, oh, yeah, like you got a rock star and somebody that does construction and like a teacher doing the same
Doing the same
dance.
shit, yeah.
But it's because it's relevant at the moment, so you take advantage of that, and it's like boom, like you do that and stuff.
And it's some
Yeah.
people that made like careers on that because of just like following trends and stuff.
Yeah.
And then the other way
Looking
I've
at
seen
what's
people
trending and
to work is like people have their own original content and they will pepper in like they'll hop on a trend.
Yeah.
And everything. But when you go to their page, it's like, oh, you still see like, oh, they actually
Exactly.
they review vinyls that they've bought. Like,
Yeah.
like they fit like whatever trend into their.
But they
into
were
their-
dancing, and this video
Yeah,
hit a
exactly.
million likes. You know? Like what?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
kind of crazy. The whole social media like thing is weird like itself, and
Yeah.
I always have that that talk. I think I like always bring up social media on this because I mean definitely it's one of the things, but I think connection based and like talking to people and stuff like that. Sometimes I will go out and like into a show or something and have the toughest time talking to people, and I'm like, bro, like what the hell, like and then I realize like, oh my. Every interaction I've had this week has been online. Like I haven't talked to anybody. Like and then I
it's
go out
just-
and try to be
it's
social, and it's like, oh, it's a little weird. You know what I mean?
Like, oh, real life.
Yeah, exactly.
What do you mean I gotta leave my apartment?
Yeah.
Like shit, dude. Yeah, that's some weird stuff, man. Like I don't know if people. I mean, we were at that. I mean, I was at that age where I was like, you know what, I didn't know what a computer was, and then I knew what a computer was, and then the internet happened. You know, and then I have a phone, and I'm connected to everything all the time. It's just weird. Like also like because like you said, like social media is like a big, like not a big part, but it is a part of like marketing and music marketing like nowadays, that it's kind of hard to get away from it. So like sometimes it's just like, dude, like what's going on? Like am I online? Like did I really play that show? Or like it's kind of weird, like to me personally, like just kind of finding out that difference of like, okay, like I'm this online personality, and like you said, like I've talked to so many people, and he's talked to so many people, like sending emails and like booking shows and stuff, but like at the same time we haven't really like had that human interaction.
Like, have you
which
ever
is
had
kind of
that where
weird.
you like only talk to somebody like on the internet that like and you've like spoken and then you like are standing next to them like
Yeah, there's times where
Okay.
I'll be like, hey,
That's the guy I
that's
follow on
it.
Instagram.
That's the guy who books us a show. And then we're like, should we go say hi? And we're like, we're like, let's go introduce ourselves. It's just kind of like, we've talked on social media, but we haven't talked in person. So it's just kind of like, hey, I'm Thick Rick. We talked on social media. You helped us with that show in Oklahoma, or you helped us with that show in Nemo Night. It's just interesting to like not have that. So it's kind of awkward, because you're like, oh, like I just haven't met this person in real life, but we've talked
weird.
on social media. So it's just weird.
Yeah, it's
I think it just adds like that. So it just adds to that social anxiety.
Oh
Definitely,
yeah, for
like
sure.
quite a bit.
Like I don't know, like back in the day, like I'm pretty sure I don't know how they did it back in the day.
Yeah.
Like, you're like, oh, you're gonna go talk to that guy, like drive to Dallas and talk to that guy and like just have a phone number and stuff. Now you know what the person looks like.
Yeah.
And you text them, but like it's still not like the same thing.
Yeah, I feel like we take it as the same thing sometimes. We're like, oh, when we talk, I know what they look like. I know what they had for lunch the other day. You know what I mean? Like, she's like access to that shit, but like we don't like. And then like in person, we're like, okay, like, but can I talk to them? Like, because they like you. I always find it weird, like when you bring up shit that you like saw on social media,
You know, and
up to
like,
a person, and I was like, oh, you went to that one place last week. You're like, what the fuck? Like,
I don't remember
how do you know? Like,
I'm
but then
seeing
we're
your
posting our shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like I'm seeing your stuff. I know what you're doing, but you probably ain't seeing my stuff. So you know, I could be like, I know who he is, but that person probably doesn't know who the fuck I am.
It's
you know, it's just like,
Stop it.
hey man, what's up? And they're just kind of like, who are you?
I've just been binge watching your stories, dude.
Remember when you got like all those likes last night? That was me.
It was one of those. It was me. I was like third to like it. I don't know if you noticed that, brother. But yeah, it's weird. But I mean,
shit.
passing by social media, which we were talking, like a lot of it goes to promote. Like you mentioned earlier, that you're working on music, so or you're working on putting something out.
Yes, we are. Honeyrot is working on releasing. It started out as an EP. Now it's looking more like an album.
Yeah.
Which is
An album.
it's really like
Another exclusive.
exclusive. It's really fun and really exciting. It's also really scary because I don't know, like I mean, I've always had the dream of putting music out and stuff and writing music, and now that it's all coming together and like little pieces are slowly falling into place, it freaks me out. First of all, it freaks us out too because like weird shit happens. We'll get into that right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, let's get spooky.
All right, yeah.
Let's get spooky.
Shit happens for real.
Shit has been like happening, so it's kind of like funky. But yeah, so what started out as 5 songs is looking more like 9 or 10 songs now. But it started, like I said, like just writing music just because I wanted to, and then all of a sudden it just fell into a certain theme, and then that theme kind of stuck. We kept playing shows, and we were like, you know what, we're gonna release in the summer, and then the summer passed, and nothing happened, and then we just kept trying and playing shows and stuff, and then I always tell Ricky, like, you know, things happen for a reason and stuff, and I trust it. I always trust the feeling of like, you know, like don't get disappointed because something doesn't happen. Just keep working at it, and that's how I like view things like this. But like a lot of things have been happening like recently. Like there was just delays and like, you know, it could have been a 5-song EP release, but there was a delay that kind of pushed it. And then because of that, like I was like even more inspired to just keep chipping at it. So now we're like pushing like 10 songs, like I said.
Yeah.
But yeah, like now that we have like a definite like concrete theme, it's kind of like all coming together.
Okay.
But yeah, we are releasing music soon. I've been working on it.
Very soon.
Very, very, very soon. Yeah, before the year ends for sure. And we're planning on just pushing like that music and stuff. But yeah, I guess not to like dive. I mean, I don't know. Should we dive deep into the theme of it? What do you think? Okay.
Rock, paper, scissors.
If you win, yes. If I win, no.
Yes.
Okay.
If I win, yes. If you win, yes. Let's go.
Oh god.
Oh, no.
I said I'm gonna talk about it.
What do we got to tie, bro?
Paper, scissors, rock. Wait,
no,
paper,
no,
scissors,
no.
rock,
Where y'all
shoot.
going?
Okay, paper, scissors, rock,
Okay.
shoot. Paper, scissors, rock, shoot. Oh, you beat me.
Oh,
Oh, so we'll talk about
man,
it.
we talk about
Oh, okay, we'll
Pick
talk
me
about
for
it.
the win.
Okay, let's talk about it.
All right. So our theme for the upcoming EP of Honeyrot is going to be.
So the title is Noches de Terror, or Nights of Terror. So the whole theme is just like, you know, spooky, like, you know, like sleepless nights and stuff like that. So, like I said, it started with 5 songs. And I never really had like a working title for like the EP and stuff. One day I was like, you know what? I think Noches de Terror kind of works. And it was like a kind of like a not really a universal theme, but that really brought those 5 songs that we already had written like together.
Okay.
So now that like we have that like theme running, like Noches de Terror, Nights of Terror, like Ricky like loves horror stuff, like, you know, like spooky movies and stuff.
man.
Yeah, like literally like he like once like September 1st hit, like he put up all the lights and stuff. So like our apartment looks like Halloween.
Yeah, our
You're one of those.
apartment
You're one of
already.
those, okay.
Like we just moved in, and like we have like all these not Christmas, Halloween lights all around. We got like like we have like the figures of like Michael Myers and like Sam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like we have like just decked out Halloween, so like we'll turn off like all the lights and just turn on all the lights at night, and you'll see like just eyeballs like flickering in the wall. We have like all this shit, and then we went to Spirit Halloween last night. We got some more shit, and we're gonna get more shit, tomorrow.
Okay, before we continue, the Spirit Halloween you went to, what did it used to be? Because they be moving into everybody.
They don't even have a sign up.
Yeah.
It's like it literally opened like 2 days ago.
Yeah, it looked like
It's September.
Yeah, no, it was fully because we had gone to one and it was like people had already like ravaged through it. It was like a block away from a mall, so like people had ran through it. And then we went to another one
and it was like untouched,
brand new. Yeah, we had
like everything was there. Like there was not one empty spot. Like, and we just saw so much, and it just fits our theme because we're doing Night of Terror. Noche de Terror.
Yeah,
like
the whole scary.
And we're thinking about like all these like outfits that we're gonna do.
Just to like promote.
Just kind of like promoting and like all these things of like just promoting not like that horror. And we always talk about like, bro, like once this thing's out, George is always like, we're gonna live Halloween for the rest of our lives.
We're gonna be Halloween for the rest of our lives.
But it's just a lot of like we love horror and like we have a lot of things to just factor into it, and it's pretty cool.
So that kind of brought it together.
For sure. And like I was talking about like organically and stuff, like in my wildest dreams did I think like this was gonna be like my first like EP or album release, but like I'm so like lucky and happy, and like I think this is the coolest shit ever because it just came out. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. I never would have like when I was 13. I wasn't like, you know what? When you're like, if we're gonna release your first album, it's gonna be like horror theme, and it's gonna be shit. Like this is like better than I could have ever imagined. So like having the fact that like. And it all falls into place. Like, I mean, I just moved into this apartment, and all of a sudden, like, I see, like, Michael Myers trying to kill me. Or, like, little stature and stuff like that. And it's just like, well, maybe I should, like, maybe, like, it just reiterates that, like, maybe we should just pursue that theme and stuff.
You get signs of it.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
Kind of
and, like, going back to the spooky stuff and everything like that, like, we've just been getting, like, the weirdest things, like...
Yeah, so we have, like, a bunch of lights, and one's battery operated that you gotta click the button to turn on, and we're, like, there, and we're just sitting on the couch, and, like, the lights just turned on. Like, you gotta press the button to turn them on. Yeah. So, like, we're there, and the lights just turned on, and we're just, like... And they're like flickering, and we're just kind of like...
Yeah, and this is at the new apartment, so I moved in with him like at his old apartment like a month ago. And when I moved in, like weird shit just started happening, things start falling, or like you hear stuff, and it's just like...
Or we have dogs.
Yeah.
So like the dogs just like start barking.
Start
and he's
barking.
like,
Oh, hell.
Yo,
He's just barking at it. He's like,
yeah,
what the fuck are you seeing?
Dude, yeah, no, they like get on the couch and they're just barking like at a wall, and you're like, what are you barking at?
Okay, so we have 4 dogs, right? So like there's 2 dogs that are like younger and stuff, and they'll be the ones that are like little assholes, and they'll start barking at whatever. But then there's Lucy, who's like our older dog, and she doesn't fuck around. So when she starts barking at the corner, you're just like, oh shit, what the fuck? Yeah, dude, yeah.
Hence why we moved out.
No, but yeah, like
on the leaving, the reason why you're leaving is like, oh, there's ghosts in this bitch, okay? Like, hell no.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
it's just been like a whole bunch of like things like that, and just like, I mean, it's fun to get like spooked out and stuff, but it's also like, well, maybe it's a sign to just keep going and stuff. But yeah, it's all just been the whole like Noches de Terror, like Nights of Horror, like we're working hard on that, and we really hope that like people enjoy it, because like I'm really excited for that. Like all of those songs that I write, like I write them for myself, but I'm like, dude, I am really hard on myself. Like I really care about this shit, and I'm like, if I'm not satisfied with this, like I'm not gonna, show people, because it really means the world to me.
Yeah.
And this is like, music is my favorite thing ever. But I just wanna like share it with homies and stuff, and like, I mean, we've played shows together and stuff, and sometimes I'll hear them like fucking like singing little songs, and I'm like, really, like, is it that catchy? And then I'll catch myself like,
yeah, I'll be like just there like in the couch, and I'll start singing like one of the songs, and I'll be like, bro, it's stuck in my head, and then like, but that's what you want. You want something that sticks. And like he wrote the song, I played trumpet with him and stuff, but like, just so much music out there, and for me just to be also just having the song in my head,
Yeah.
it means the song will be catchy, and we hope other people feel that like sense of like that they like that song also. And we also like a lot of his music he wants. He just talks about past experiences, and we want it to be like relatable to other people. Of like, when they hear it, it's just kind of like, oh shit, like they can relate to the music, and they feel that emotion.
The thing that happens a lot is that I think, like we said, when you start writing stuff just from a place of like vulnerability, from a place of just like trying to be real with yourself, it always ends up being relatable without you even trying about it, because like human emotion is just real. Like
it's
people
universal.
experience it. Like there's a lot of us that try to feel like we're way different than everybody else. And from what I can tell, like most of us have a lot of really like common shared experiences. Like obviously they're unique to us, but that emotion, that like feeling that people have sometimes like is very like, people feel it in their own way. So like there's like certain lines in songs that live with me to this day, because I'm like, dude, I don't know how, like you have those moments where you're freaking out, where you're like, how does this person know like what I'm going through, when it's just like, okay, we both go through it. It's just like in our own unique way kind of thing. So I think that's what like helps people get like stuff caught in their heads. Like obviously like melodies and stuff like that are great, catchy and stuff like that. But like there's certain lines that I'll catch and I'm just like, ooh, whatever word that was, like
it hits.
It just hits and that's stuck, and I'm like, wow, like why, like those words are cool, like, you know what I mean? That's why like lyricism is always super interesting to me, of like how people pick the words that they use, you know what I mean? Because there's a reason like someone said one word instead of the other, you know what I mean? Like or building songs that way, or why I said a phrase that I did. There's always going to be a relatability like in that, like to people, which is what makes music like stick around. People want to listen to that, and then like you have people who always say like, oh, music saved their lives. Certain artists like save their lives, but like sometimes like those artists, I don't know why I always find it's like, in fact, like trippy, but I'm like, there's people who like say like this band like changed their life and like or did something to them, but that band like has no idea. They just put out that music, you know what I mean? But the ability of music to just spread and like touch so many like different people's lives is awesome, you know what I mean? Like I love that so much.
It's just crazy. I think like how he said like he never thought he'd be in this spot to be able to release an album. Just the fact to be like, you were inspired one day as a kid with some music, like Green Day and My Chem and all this stuff, Front Bottoms, Modern Baseball, and it's just kind of grow up and be releasing that music, and to realize that you're gonna make someone else feel that way too, and make someone else be like
you're gonna
damn,
make me cry right now.
like, damn, just to be like, damn, that music just hits, what you used back then to music to like kind of help you, as your music's not helping someone else. And I mean, we've all been through shit, and sometimes I sing some of his lyrics in my head. There's times where we were like talking about it, and we're just kind of like, I was like, bro, like that's some good lyrics. But that's because I can relate to it myself, and I'll be like, shit, man, we've all been through some stuff, and just kind of back in the day, like, so that music, we're, if it's helping me, I'm sure it's helping like a ton of other people. So it's just, it's good music, and it's good how he said going back to the beginning where we said organic, like it's just emotions.
Absolutely,
emo music.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought that up about the whole connection stuff, because even though that I like write music when I'm like alone and stuff, I mean, it feels really nice when you're like, because a lot of the times when I write my music, I get in my feels, and I'll be alone in my room and stuff, and I'll feel really lonely. But like once you bring that up, like there's been people that like my music, and people that relate to it, and I think that's really beautiful. That like the fact that I wrote this thing feeling so alone and stuff, and somebody relates to it. So like the fact that they can feel alone also, relating to that music, but they can also connect to me because of like we're also feeling alone. It's kind of like a crazy thing that I hadn't really thought about,
Isn't it weird, like that whole like alone together kind of thing?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
and then when you think about like when we perform, he would say like, oh, this next song, Lasso, and he'll say this song is about that person you like not texting you back. Like at that moment when you say that, everyone almost everyone has had someone not texting back. So when you say that, they're really already just relating to that song, and you start singing it. and we talked about likes on Spotify every day. You know, we don't like looking at likes, and he says he doesn't like looking at that stuff. But you know, I feel like as a manager, I feel like I should. You know,
I'm sorry, George. I gotta look at numbers. All right.
And I don't like to tell him that stuff because I know he doesn't like it.
Yeah.
But I did tell him, you know, like he's been out of Laredo for a while, and we did some shows, and just while he was up here in Dallas, he got like, you know, over 100 new likes on like that song, the last one. I was like, you know, it's just people that like you, but also like when you say like this song is about a person you like not texting you back, that person could just be like, you know, you don't know, like people just hear it. You know, if it's, you know, they like it on Spotify for a reason, you know. I mean, I like songs that I like, so I wouldn't be putting just random songs. So it's just cool to be like out, you know, he's out of Laredo just, you know, just for a bit, but like to see that number still growing.
Yeah.
Like it's not like, oh, you left and it just stopped. But you know, you're still impacting people just, you know, here, San Antonio, Dallas, Fort Worth.
Yeah.
It's just constantly
Which
growing.
it's that whole like connection. That's your biggest, like, I feel like that's your biggest tool, like in being a musician. It's like being able to connect with the people listening to you, like other than like you creating your own you know, music that you love and like, and then once you go out and play it, it's working on that connection. Make sure people know like what you're saying, like what, you know, the songs are, if you get time to explain, like it's I've had hit or miss moments where like people like say everything about, but like a short phrase like that like is easy to catch on. I've had like those shows where like people like try to explain the entire song, like every line, and I'm like, okay, hold on, it's a little too specific, like because you gotta leave, like I feel like you gotta leave people their own
interpretation
ability to interpret. You know what I mean? So you gotta leave enough for like
very open ended.
It to be like, so it's, you might think is that's you, because that song is as specific to you as you have made it
for sure.
But like for people, like when they get to love it, it's not because like of the way that it affected you. Normally it's the way that it affected them, and then like, oh, okay, so you got to leave enough for them to be able to feel like their song is their own.
However they want to,
because that's always like, once you put music out, like it's theirs. It's theirs.
Yeah.
Again, that's it.
As horrible it sounds, I hate it.
Yeah. Once you put it out, it's theirs. Any form of art you put out, like I don't give a fuck if you like paint. If you paint and you're like, you know, that painting over there, it's corn back there, right? It's like,
it's corn.
And then, you know, the artist could be like, no, this is capitalism, and I'm like, nah, baby,
that's corn, baby.
That's corn.
Wait till you add butter though.
But I mean, just like stuff like that, art in general, songs, like people are like, oh, like it makes you feel this because of that, and then like the artist goes on and does like some interview, and like, no, it means this, and I'm like, nope, it means that.
It means
like,
that.
You can't change it out of me. You know what I mean?
No,
yeah,
that's cool because music really does just kind of like. To everyone, it's different, and I've seen that personally. Like me personally, I'll hear a song, and if they like say a certain name, I'll be like, oh, never mind. You know, that doesn't relate to me. Or they say the name of someone that I thought about, I'm like, what's the name?
It hits, yeah.
You know, I'll just be like, I can't.
We love you, Cassie.
We love you, Cassie.
Yeah. Cassie's great. I didn't meet Cassie. Cassie's great. Right.
But you know, you just think about shit like that, and you're just like, music relates to everyone differently, and it
does.
It's just cool, you know, like just, you know, just everyone relates to something different, and you know, like how we played Three Links this past Thursday. You know, like there's people like, I think it's cool when you're playing a show and people are just like staring at you. Like how you said the post, how people were just like captured.
Boom.
Like it's cool because they're like really, you know, you don't see it. I mean, you don't know what's going on in their head, but they're really just thinking. They're hearing that lyrics.
They're kind of
and they're like, you know, everyone just has their own interpretation. Someone could be like listening, being like, "Fuck, that shit hit hard."
Yeah.
Someone else could be listening and just being like, "Damn, you know, it's just." Or like, and that may not hit them, may hit them, but it's just all different.
And it's kind of weird because there's all different types of like concert goers, and I have been both the type to be like just like standing there and listening, and I'm just like, I love every second of this. But if you look at me in the crowd, you just see me. And I'm like, I'm having the time of my life in here because I'm enjoying this shit. But like, you look down and be like, God, what the fuck's that dude's problem?
No, should I try harder?
Like, move. Yeah, we'll talk. Sometimes we'll tell each other like, dude, we gotta come down to shows because we're at shows and we're just like, yeah. We're like
But
screaming.
there's like certain like music that just makes you do
Yeah,
that. You know what I mean? Like I'm like
alcohol.
I fucking have that. And as the podcast progresses, it's gotten louder. Yeah, I've seen that. But no,
I was sober when it started.
that's it though. Like, and there's different music, and I have enjoyed music like live shows both ways. I've like stared and just been listening intently. I'm like, this shit is fucking great. Or like have like had music that I'm like, you know what? I want to fucking jump around and like I'm not normally the type of person to get into pits, but there's times where I've gone to like mosh pits and just shit because I'm like, yeah, fuck yeah, this shit's badass. Like I want to like experience that. But you get all types of fans from, but you don't get to choose how these people like enjoy your music. Like, you know what I mean? Like you get all types of different people's how they'll interpret it, how they'll feel it. The whole point is that they do take it in. Like that's it. Like that's all you can do. All you can do is put it out. Like, and they will perceive it the way like you go. And then you're right. As a musician, it's like it is a little terrifying, and it kind of is like, oh, like they're not listening to it the way I wrote it or kind of thing. But you kind of have to make peace with that, like be like, I need to put this out, and you know whatever people take from it, that's gonna be it. You know?
Yeah, and also going with that, like, well, if we have that opportunity to present ourselves how we want to, then we're gonna like show you what we want to. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah,
and it's going back into just being independent and being able to like what we want to do.
Yeah,
so it's like we want to show you this. And we're gonna show you this, because we have full authority.
Yeah,
we control everything about it, and we're gonna make you see what we want you to see.
And also like playing shows and stuff, like to me, like in Laredo, like it was always really daunting because like Laredo has small scene and stuff, and it's hard. Like a lot of people say like, por eso Laredo no progresa, or that's why there's like this saying that says that's why Laredo doesn't like keep moving forward, because a lot of the people in Laredo, their mentality like back home, I don't know if it's like that in other places, but like in my hometown, is just like people are just trying to bring everybody down. Like people are trying to do stuff and they're like, no, this isn't cool enough, or this isn't like, you know, whatever enough.
Oh, gotcha.
And then like for us, it's like, well, I don't care what you're gonna tell me. Like I'm gonna be Honeyrot, and we're gonna do what I want, wherever we want. Yeah. And that's like not to like be like an asshole or anything, but it's just like, you know what, this is my art, and I'm gonna portray it to you how I want to.
Yeah.
And if you like resonate with it, cool. And if not, like, you know what, we had a kick-ass show and we had fun and we played music for ourselves. Yeah. But it's also like, and then, you know, and then we go about that. We don't give a fuck. Like we play, and then people relate to that, and it's like, fuck yeah, dude. Yeah. Let's keep going.
You know,
exactly.
that works. Like,
yeah.
And there's always gonna be people that like try to bring something down. I think in this scene, as far as like me like growing in, I've ran into a few, but I've ran into a lot more like help and like a lot more like just people being supportive than I have. And that's like when we started like, you know, this podcast even, or NoiseROT in general, I was like, that's what I want. Like, I want for us to be able to build, like, artists that are fucking cool. Like, the podcast itself, I'm like, I go, when do these other, like, people, like, get chances to be, like, and talk about themselves and their music and stuff like that? I go, like, they deserve it. And I'm like, all these artists that I'm talking to, just because they're local, that don't mean shit. Like, there's talent to fucking, like, go around. Like, I go, they deserve all this shit. So, like, that's what we try to do with shows. Like, we try to create shows that, like, that we would like want to go to. We want to treat bands the way we would like to be treated. Like when we were, because we've all like everyone in like NoiseROT has played music, except for like Bernice, and Bernice has like been going to shows for fucking years. And I'm like, this scene has brought a lot for us, a lot of joy and stuff like that. I go, all we want to do is make sure that community grows. Like make sure people know that they have more support than than hate. You know what I mean? Like
and that goes back to like how what we said earlier, how George was like that. I was telling him like, dude, you gotta come up here. Like I've been living here for a while. A couple of years now. I was just like, I saw you, me and my wife would go out and we would see all the scene, and I was like, dude, you know, like I get it, man. Like you're doing all this stuff, all these great things on the radio. I was like, bro, the scene up here, like it's just different. Like I've gone, you know, I've seen like all these bands, and everyone helps each other. Like the bands help each other out. You know, not saying that doesn't happen over there, but just saying like the bands here. You know, there's a lot of shows. There's a lot of... At DFW is cool because it's not just, like, one city, you know. It's, like, Dallas, Fort Worth, Denton, you know, like, Arlington. It's just, like, all around, like, Grapevine, Euless, you know, North Richmond Hills. It's just, like, all these shows all everywhere, you know. It's just... It's each its own... It's... Everything's its own crowd.
Yeah.
Like, Dallas, you think of Dallas and, you know, my mentality growing up was just oh, Dallas, it's just Dallas. But then I come up here and I was like, no, it's Dallas. And then there's Fort Worth. And that's 2 different crowds.
Yep.
People aren't going to drive an hour to 40 minutes, to drive to a show in Dallas when, like, there's stuff happening in Fort Worth. It's just very different.
Yeah.
So that's why I was like, bro, like, you got to come up here, like, it's just good. So we talked about it. He came up. He was like, I'll move up for a little bit. But yeah, like we've just moving up, like just been welcomed with open arms from all these bands.
Yeah.
Like it's like NoiseROT, dude. Like we appreciate like y'all gave us the first show in the FW, like, and you were just like, yeah, here, go for it. He was like, hey, the band couldn't make it, and and DJ was just like, oh, dude, that's all cool. We got backing tracks, and we're like,
shout out Lewis.
Yeah, Lewis. And then Lewis. Right after that show, Lewis was just like, hey, so what you doing after your show? He's like, I got a little place, want to go record it. So we're like, oh shit, we did like a session with Lewis. In a little cool spot, we did like a whole thing. He like showed us. He like mixed and mastered it right there, like in 15, 20 minutes, and was just like, what y'all think? And we're like, dude,
shout out Lewis,
shout out, man, dude.
Crooked Stew Studios, everything.
Like, it was just so good. And then like you're reaching out with a podcast, and just all these things are just little things that like, it's just like it's they're important and they matter, and they just it's just cool to see all that support. And we've seen it, and we talk about it all the time. And we're always like, it's cool just to have this opportunity just to like go out and just
kick ass,
just
and it inspires us. Like once we see like all this support, not that we don't like give a fuck when nobody supports us, right? But like you see all this support, and it's like, dude, I always give 110. Let me give like 200 or 300, and I'm just like, dude. Like, I get the opportunity to just, like, be myself and whine on stage and scream on stage for 30 minutes. Like, let me just give it all out, And that's what I like doing. Like, that's why I just practice every day. And, like, I just like putting on a good show and putting out good music. And, like, if you're going to give me, like, that platform, like, I'm going to give you all everything. And, And I love that, like, the whole, like, mutual, like, community stuff. And it's everywhere. Like, it's everywhere in music. But I'm so grateful that it's, like, right here. And it's, like, I'm just so lucky. Man.
Yeah. It's definitely you can definitely find it everywhere. You just have to find the right people and keep the right people. And like the ones that are being negative, fine. You don't have to be here. Like it's fine. And then like the thing these days, like I've gotten to like come to terms with, and I'm like I don't have to like everything. I go, but I also like if I don't like something, I don't have to shit on it. Like why would I? Like
Definitely.
You are if you're working on something. And someone doesn't like it, but that's their first thing is to like let me put it down. I'm like, why?
Like everyone's grinding, bro. Like
exactly. Like you're like,
dude, if you don't got any positive to say, like you don't got to talk.
It's like the cheesiest like corniest line is like if you don't have nothing nice to say, don't say nothing. And I'm like, well, like really, but especially when it's like these people like that live like where you live. You know what I mean? They're working the same like craft that you are. It's not like they just like come out here and like half-ass like stuff. Like if they're like working their ass off and like playing like your heart out, because I've seen like people play like to small rooms and like put their like freaking like heart into it, like whole heart, and I'm like, that's fucking great. Like how the hell am I gonna talk down someone who's fucking trying something?
It's
just like I always look up to the effort because like I mean one of the bravest things to do is fucking try.
Yeah.
Like and like being so vulnerable, especially with this music stuff, is just putting yourself out there. And I think I don't know, like I have so much respect for just people that just put music out and try stuff and just like try. Like I don't know like when it started that like people were just like shitting on people. It was like, oh, they're trying, like if you don't like it, it doesn't matter. Just like, at least that guy has a balls to go on stage.
Exactly.
This band that's trying to make it.
Putting the music out, man.
Like support it.
And then when you look, it's like, dude, everything like your local musician is on their own dime. You know what I mean? Like they love this shit so much that they're putting all like their money into it.
Yeah.
Like recording fucking all their every instrument that you buy, every fucking thing that you're playing, like how long it took to like learn how to like play what you're playing, like play like your actual instrument, learn how to sing, like all this stuff like is effort that people like kind of take for granted. They only take that moment and be like, I don't like that song, I'm gonna talk shit, instead of being like, bro, like that person, like you look at the process that went to get there.
Exactly. Yeah, that whole behind the scenes thing is just
which is why I like this. Which is why I like this, because people get to know a little bit more about like what that process is, or just know. It makes artists become people. Like, I think people forget that. Like, they just think like musicians or even like anybody at any level.
Hearts too, man. I have hearts too. I'm thick, but I have a heart.
I'm thinking. So is my heart. His heart think too.
Yes.
Fuck.
Oh, dang.
Yeah. I think that's an important thing. The community, especially. I love just. I guess right before we like wrap this up here quick. I honestly love. I don't know why I didn't talk about this before, but I love the fact that you like actually like incorporate like Spanish into both of like your songs.
Oh yeah,
that's so fucking dope. Like I remember like when I was watching it for the first time and you like switched. I'm like, what the fuck? I was like, hold on, and I was like,
That guy speaks French. Is that Japanese? Yeah. Well, going back to the whole authenticity thing. I really, there's a lot of things that influence me. Not just like, emo music, like My Chem is like, up here, Green Day's up here, modern baseball, like those are like my top three. But like back home when I'm like hanging out, it's Sunday, like we're making carne asada, like you put like corridos or intocable or, whatever.
Yeah.
And I don't shy away from those things just because I also listen to those things.
Yeah.
Like, the whole adding Spanish lyrics and stuff is just like I said, like I'm writing music and stuff, and then sometimes it comes out in English, sometimes it comes out in Spanish.
Yeah.
And I was like, cool. But yeah, just being myself and just being like as authentic as I can to like my art and my music, I think, like you said, like it does relate to people, but at the end of the day, like I just want to like be myself through those songs and just like be as honest as possible. And I'm really happy that we have this platform because now you can see me. I'm just a dumb fuck.
Honeyrot.
Honeyrot right here.
Honeyrot.
But yeah, like like the only reason that I sing in English and in Spanish is because those are my influences. Like growing up, like even now, like I still jam like Julieta Venegas, when I'm in the car. Yeah, all that stuff, man. And funnily enough, or like I think like one of the people that like pushes me to do this like the most, or that has always pushed me the most. I mean, Reiki, like my manager, have my best friends, his wife, my friend Jackie, and my band, of course. But like one of the main persons is my mom, and like she is the person that like really made me love music, because when I was growing up, and like I don't know this, but like one time she told me, yeah, sure, I used to play like. I put my headphones on my belly or whatever. I don't know if that's true, but I love my mom. But yeah, like
Shout out to your mom.
Shout out, Mom. I love you, Mom.
Shout out George's mom.
Thank you for the flautas. I'm just kidding.
Oh, they were so good. I'm sorry, I had seconds. I didn't mean to eat 8.
Thank you, Mom. No, but like going back to that, like growing up, I would just see my mom like going to these shows and stuff, and like she really inspired me. Like as a fan of like music and stuff, like she would always go out of her way to like meet the artists and like take a picture with them. And that like I remember like being 18 and I was like, Mom, like, you know what, like modern baseball's coming to Austin, and that was my first out of town show. And I was already 18. Like I think it was already like the end of high school, and I was like, can I go? And she's like, yeah, dude, go. And I go, and I'm like, damn, like this is so cool. Like I really like appreciate the fact that she let me through that, because like music like just means the world to me because of her. And then like it inspires me to just keep going. So just like making music and stuff it's just like the funnest thing ever. And like I always tell her, you know what, I do this for you because like you inspire me. She's like, no, you do it for yourself. And I'm like, dude, I love you, but
I know. Yeah. And I also want to shout out his mom. Like she'll go to like his shows, like when we did the coffee shop.
Yeah.
She was like there, she was repping the Honeyrot merch, and like just being there, like it's cool just for him to be doing a show and being like, my mom's like
my
right
biggest
there.
inspiration, man. And I think that's one of the reasons also that I like write songs in Spanish, or not that I write songs in Spanish, but there's definitely some songs that I'm like, you know what, Mom, like this is like, I'll explain the lyrics to her even though they're in English, and she's like, okay, dude, like cool, like that's cool, like and stuff. But yeah, like my mom, like number one, and I always tell her, like the first thing I told her always, and he was at one of my first gigs too. Was like, Mom, like I love you, and like you don't have to go to these gigs if you don't want to. Like I know you're supporting me, and like she's been cool about that. But recently, now that I moved up here and stuff, that I'm like I'm not playing Laredo every weekend. It's just like, oh, she'll go out and stuff. Yeah. But yeah, like the main reason that like I guess I sing in Spanish and I'm influenced by that Spanish music is because of my mother. Like one of her favorite bands, or like her favorite band is Intocable. And like she has so many pictures of her like with the singer and stuff, and like me little like going to the shows and stuff, and it's just like, hell yeah, dude, yeah. I'm just there and I'm just like, dude, yeah. And like just seeing that stuff, and also like, I mean, because like my dream is just to be able to like pay my bills with this stuff, like I don't like pretend to be like a millionaire or whatever, like I'm not like pursuing for that like necessarily, but like if I can just do that, that would be cool. But like I see these guys like grinding and stuff, and I've seen them for 20 years. You know what I mean? Ever since I was little, and that pushes me to just be like, you know what, you can do it. Like, there's a lot of times when we think like, oh, like I need a 9 to 5, like damn, I need a degree and stuff. I need to do this and stuff, and my mother has always been there, like, you know what, like if you think this is it, and if you really feel it, do it. And so far it's been like, okay, like I think we're on the right path.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, like I will never, like, I think, yeah, like she pushes me, because there's a lot of times where I'm just like, you know what, like this is really worth it. And it sucks being really honest and like with yourself, because it's just like I'll be like there one night and just like, damn, dude, like is it really worth it? But then like I think about my mother, and I think about like people doing it and people playing music, and I think about you, like how you've like helped us, and like all these people around us that are just like rooting for us. And I'm like, not that I don't want to let anybody down, but I'm just like, dude, I think we got a good thing going here, and and as long as like people are gonna allow me to do this, I'm gonna fucking push for it, man. And if I can hold like myself, and not just even myself, but people that look like us, you know, like like the whole Mexican American, and like, you know, like I want to inspire others to be like, you know what, I may not look like the part, but I can fucking do it, you know? And that's also why I sing in Spanish, because I'm not gonna shy away from like who I am, and I'm just gonna always be like, I hope that one day I can inspire, like he said, I hope that one day I can inspire the little kid, like Intocable, or like, you know, Duelo, or Solido, like all these people inspired me when I was a kid. Because I always tell Ricky, I'm like, you know, you have all these people from like South Texas, like little cities like Zapata, Roma, Texas, you know, all the valley, and I'm like, why not Laredo? And I want to tell those kids that it's possible, man, and I want to show them, and yeah, man, you can do it. Sing in Spanish, English, whatever the fuck. You just work hard, and that's it. Just be yourself, man. And yeah.
Hell yeah. I think there's no better way to wrap this up with that. Just be yourself, grind. If you have an idea, just fucking pursue it with everything you got. You know what I mean? If it feels right, keep going. But I want to thank both of you guys for coming by, dude. I honestly really appreciate it. George, Rick, thank you a lot for stopping by. Honeyrot, look up. They're releasing music this year, so we'll finally be able to listen to that. Song Lasso, you have Lasso's on Spotify. Lasso's on Spotify, so you can stream something. They have a bunch of shows coming up. Anything that you have coming up, I guess, in the next month or so?
What do we have? Oh, no. We'll keep it a secret.
The secret. Yeah. Anyways,
check out Instagram.
Yeah, follow Instagram, which is one of my favorite Instagram handles, honestly. Honeyrot Cheerios is fucking great.
Cheerios, man.
So not sponsored yet.
Yeah, not yet. No, that's gonna be the first one. Honeyrot Cheerios.
Stay thick.
Stay thick. Fuck, that's the baddest. But yeah, thank you guys for stopping by. I really appreciate it. And thank you guys for listening, watching, and we will see you guys next time.
Love you.
Bye.
Hope it just happens on accident.